big, warm Jefferson College welcome to Wycliffe.
Good afternoon. It is still afternoon. I'm just going to play a little bit, demonstrate a few things, and talk about a method that I like to use now, which is to sing everything that I'm working on playing, or try to sing whatever I've worked out playing. So have a new method book or a concept. Sing it first. The concept itself is not new, of course. People have been doing it for a great while. Great trombonists and teachers like Emery Remington. So I'm going to start off by playing. I haven't really warmed up today, and I don't like to set up and warm up for 2 or 3 hours. I like to do a few things that will just take me through the course of whatever I'm going to possibly use in the evening playing. So it'll go a little something like this. It's all improvised, and it'll probably start low and kind of slow, and then eventually get a little more interesting and or crazy, however you see it. But everything that I play, I try to sing, or everything, you know. So here it is. So like that. Now, that's not necessarily the greatest way to warm up, but it is what I like to do. So, you know, before a gig, now I'm ready to play just about anything, because I've just kind of touched up on different things that I may want to utilize in the course of an evening. So playing, I started off kind of low, and eventually as my chops got a little warmer, then I went a little higher, then started incorporating the tongue exercises and, you know, multiphonics. But like I said, everything I play, I try to sing it. So the most difficult part of practicing is getting the horn out of the case, or the preparation for practice. You know, like you have to go to the practice room. Well, you have to get there. You have to get your horn out of the case, or lift the lid on the piano, whatever instrument you're playing. That's the hardest thing to do. But to sing, you go to sleep with and you wake up with your voice every day, every night. So if you want to work on some aspect of your playing, just sing it. If you can sing something, I feel like if you can sing something, you can play it. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can sing it accurately and in tune, you can teach yourself to play it. So say something like double tonguing. Where are you going? Taka 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 taka, or daga 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 daga, or dee 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 dee. When you go into a practice room, it has to be in a room that's not going to disturb folks. But when you're singing, you can work on that extra 10 minutes you have after lunch, walk into a classroom, going, shopping from the grocery store. You can work on any aspect of your musical development, even if it's playing etudes, orchestral excerpts, or even jazz, improvisation. If you can sing something, and if you can sing it accurately and in tune, that means that you can hear it, or it means that you've internalized it. So we start by internalizing rhythms, and it's one of the easiest things to do because the instrument is what? An extension of what? Someone? Yourself, but your voice. You should hear it all the time. When I was in grade school and even in college, I didn't really know what that meant until I actually started utilizing my voice to develop the things that I wanted to play. Zoo-doo-dee-bee home, boo-hee-ding-doo-ding. Boom, beep, 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 dome. Now I can't really sing that dome, beep, do, do, dee, dee, do, dee, do, dome. Even if I can't sing that low or as high as I can play, I still try to stretch the parameters of my voice by trying to do it, because that's how you learn and you grow and you develop. You have to practice consistently, all the time. Take a day off if you have to. You can take one day off, but you have to. It's important that you practice. And the important thing about practicing is understanding that when you practice, you're not really developing the instrument, you're developing yourself. The instrument is made. You're not making the instrument a better instrument. When you learn that you're actually responsible for your development as a musician, that makes practicing really interesting. It is no longer work. I mean, you have to work at it, but it becomes fun. Because what was more fun than watching yourself develop through your own efforts? So anyway, I do this all the time. And I mean, you think about it. Songs have changed a little since I was in high school and since I was in college. By the way, the songs are made, how we buy music, how we listen to music, the devices that we listen to music on, how you record, all of that has changed. But conceptually, how we learned, a lot of it has not changed, just the devices that we have available to us. How do you learn popular songs today? Anyone? It's a question. Anyone can answer. Yes?
You just listen to it.
Say it again?
You just listen to it.
Listen to it?
It's usually catchy enough that
Yeah, you listen to it by how you learn the words by doing what?
Going online and finding the word.
Well, I mean, you can go online and find the words, but let's get back a little old school. How do you learn songs? Well, you can't go online while you're driving. So if you hear a pop song or your popular song on the radio, you listen to it and you do what with the song? You sing with it. That's how you learn words. That's how the first words that you learn to say, you didn't read how to say it. You definitely didn't go online. You imitating your parents, older brothers or sisters, cat, dog, whatever sound you heard, that's the sound that you made. And you started off by imitating someone. And that's a great way to learn to develop anything in music. It doesn't matter whether it's classical music, jazz music. Imitate someone. Transcribe what they're doing. And if you start by singing, it helps because, oftentimes when we're playing jazz, or we get that word improvisation, that word is scary. It's not. It's like large, big words, or you say big words. There's no such thing as big words. There's no such thing as really hard music. Everything in music is really basic. You have F minor, F minor 7, F, A flat, C, and E flat. Well, if you're thinking about that and you take the scientific approach, it's like that can be cool to learn it so that you can internalize it. But if you actually listen to it first, when you start singing, you don't necessarily have to think about, now hear my voice. It's saying strange. Is there an echo in here somewhere? Say it again. That one spot is like, I feel like I'm in a haunted house or something. But anyway, when you're singing, you don't have to think about the positions. You don't have to think about the fingering. You don't have to think about the 22 keys on the saxophone or whatever. You don't have to think about those things. When you're singing, you're doing what you do naturally. You're hearing. Now, it's important to sing accurately and in tune. And even though we see our teachers, our professors, well, you're going to see your peers more than that. And they'll be pretty honest with you. If you don't sound good, they're going to tell you. If you're singing out of tune, they're probably going to tell you. And if one doesn't, another one will. But anyway, so if you start out if you take that approach to singing something, the same way that you learn to speak, the same way that you learn to learn words to songs, you imitate it, you transcribe. You heard something, you listened to it, and you repeated it. So whether the same thing happens in jazz, and it seems like when it comes to improvisation, when I work with classical students, that word improvisation is like, it's a really scary word. Everything you know in music is already there. You know your major scales, you know your minor scales. You've practiced enough that where you can hear music, and if I can play something and you play it back, and if you can't play it back right away, just try to sing it back. If you sing it accurately and in tune, and start with simple things like scales. Everything that you want to learn, that you can learn in music, has something to deal with the most basic thing in music. Scales, arpeggios, things like that. You want to work on your range, play scales, arpeggios, things like things like that. You want to learn to play songs, break them down. They may seem complex, but they're really made up of just a variety of simple things. So, now, when it comes to singing, oftentimes when I'm working with bands, high school or college, fellas, we want to be cool. We tend to want to be cool and not go, boo! We don't want to do that because we want to keep the voice down here. You know, it's like you want to be asking them to sing the part. Do, 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 do. The voice is not going to get so high, but I encourage you to get in touch with the feminine side and sing as high as you can, because if you sing that way, then you'll work on playing that way. So, and same thing with the ladies. Get in touch with your masculine side. And even if you can't sing that low, it doesn't matter whether you can or not. It's just that you're trying. And that's how you learn to do things, by just simply trying. So, I'm going to demonstrate one other thing with the plunger mute. This is a Pixie straight mute. Pixie straight mute. And I told you what it was. What is this? What is it used for? Toilets. Well, what are you all doing? These are used for playing trombones. What are you all doing here? Where am I? You actually use these in the toilet? That's nasty. That's really, 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 really nasty. You play trombones with these. But no, this one hasn't been used for the toilet. But anyway, it kind of functions like a lower jaw. And the greatest players I like to thank are the ones that develop a song style of playing, regardless of what it is that they're playing. They can imitate singers, and this is one of the easier ways to imitate someone's voice, because the plunger kind of functions like a lower jaw. So I'll give another example. I'm going to play another improvisation, and my breathing sounds labored. It's because I'm trying to keep from sniffling and developing a slight cold. But here, this is plunger improvisation. It's hard to do when you have to cough. Like so, sort of. Same thing. I try to sing whatever it is that I'm playing. I don't have to have my horn in my hand. I don't have to be in a practice room. I can do it while I'm driving. I can do it while I'm walking between classes, and that is, I have a lot more time to do that. And again, don't get me wrong, nothing substitutes for practicing, the actual time that you have to spend practicing on your instrument. I ask my students all the time, and especially new students, how often do you practice, say something like the piano? Oh, well, say 30 minutes a day. I said, really? Okay. But they're talking about class time. Class time is not practice time. Practice time is that time that you spend by yourself in a room, in the mirror, working on your, practicing the band. That's important. You're crossing T's and you're dotting I's. But the development that you do as a musician, you have to do that alone. And that time is when I say practice time, that developmental time is what it is that I'm talking about. And there's no substitute for that. So everything that I've played or that I've worked on tonguing, I worked on developing my range, I worked on breathing exercises, lip flexibility exercises, endurance exercises. I worked on everything separately and tried to get to some degree of mastery in all of them, and then try to make music. So anyway, sing whatever you want to play. If it's an etude out of Melodious Etudes and something from your Arbenz book, Clause, whatever you're studying from, Samando, try to sing it first. So when you go to play it, the music is already there. So now, I could talk for 2 or 3 hours. I'm not going to do that. Let's just start with some questions about anything. And if anyone would like to play, I'm happy to hear you play. And if anyone's afraid to improvise, I can show you how easy it is to improvise. If you just start out by singing. If you want to work on improvisation and you're not that familiar or you're not that comfortable with it yet, start with something simple. Don't start with John Coltrane's Giant Steps or Countdown. You can do that if you want, but I'd say start with something that you can sing, like a hymn. Mary Had a Little Lamb, the Star Spangled Banner, which may seem to be simple songs, but if you have to get comfortable with your singing, and if you can sing simple songs that are easy to hear accurately and in tune, then you can move into and before you know it, and you do everything, you should do everything slowly. I say between 60 and 80 beats on the metronome. Fast song is not difficult to play. It's just fast. You slow it down and you learn the song. You learn how to internalize the song, and then, it's just like walking. No one came into the world walking. We took our first set of goofy steps, and then when we got used to standing and taking steps, then we learned how to walk. Then we developed a cool walk. Then we learned how to run. The same thing happens. Same thing happens in music. You take baby steps. Everything is simple. Nothing is really hard. It's just things that you're unfamiliar with. But when you really break it down, for those of you that may be a little intimidated by improvisation, it's not hard to improvise. We improvise every day. I'm improvising right now. If I were to start a conversation with someone, we have the English language that we use, but that conversation is going to be improvised. I'm getting to know you. The same thing happens in music, whether it's classical music, jazz music, or whatever. Now, ask me a question, or two, or three, or four. Anybody, about anything. It can be about trombone, it can be about music, it can be about whatever. But let's do it now. Or I'll talk some more. I will do it. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that you warm up for 2 to 3 hours sometimes. What exercises do you do during your warm-up?
No, that's the exact opposite of what I said. I do not like to spend time. I do not like to spend that amount of time warming up. And there was a period in my development where I did. Okay. I used to do long tones, and now it would be boring for me to sit down for 30 or 40 minutes to do long tones, but I spent years doing it, so I would never tell a student not to do it. So I do not warm up for 2 or 3 hours. I warm up 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm ready to play. So, and I don't have, I'll say this, while you're in college, take advantage of the time that you have to practice. Because when, lo and behold, when you get out here and get a job, some of you probably have jobs now, some of you probably have families now, but it's gonna be difficult. Take advantage of the time to spend the time, set up a practice regimen. And don't practice 1 day a week for 3 hours when, and this is just it's better to practice, 6 days a week for 30 minutes than to spend 3 hours 1 day, because you develop some type of consistency in your schedule. And if playing is something that you want to do, then you have to practice that way. You have to practice daily and consistently. So develop those habits now, or take advantage of the time while you're in college to do so. When you get a job, you have to keep the lights on and start taking care of yourself, like really taking care of yourself. Like if you don't pay your bills, you can't call home, and you have to keep the lights on. You have to work. You're not going to have time to think about, I didn't practice my E scale. I mean, you can, but other things are going to come into play. So get all of those things out of the way, just like you got walking out of the way. No one gets up in the morning and think, right foot, left foot, right foot, turn. You just do it. It's internalized. So get those things out of those things that you have to practice. So sorry for that long response, but I don't spend 2 or 3 hours warming up.
You said something about that because I wrote it down.
Yeah, I said I do not. You didn't hear it. You didn't hear the not part. I
didn't hear the not. I apologize.
Yeah, no. I used to spend. I had a serious, like a 3 hour. It would be like a 2 hour, 15 minutes if I did everything together. Routine that I would go through every day, which would consist of major scales with arpeggios, 2 octaves, lip flexibilities. The way that I would do them, I take 3 different exercises. 2 mainly, and a combination of the 2. One where I dealt with small intervals, played through those. One where I went linear, and go up and down the horn through all 7 positions. I would do it all air, then go back and do everything legato tongue, then go back and do everything staccato tongue. Oh. That alone would take 45 minutes just to do it. But I did it diligently and in front of the mirror, because I developed some bad habits, listening to a student talking about an embouchure issue. Dizzy Gillespie had an embouchure issue, but it was because of the shape of his mouth. He had a terrible overbite and underbite. I forget which it was. But, say it again?
Concave teeth.
Yes. Messed up. Didn't stop him from becoming one of the greatest trumpet players of all time. You can overcome those obstacles. But, you know, I would do that because I developed some bad habits. And then breathing exercises every day, endurance exercises 2 or 3 times a week. And I mean, you know, so I had a regimen of that kind of time that I would spend. Now I spend a lot of time singing, but that wouldn't be a part of my warm up before a concert. That's just something that I would practice every day. Like I wanted to develop my doodle tongue. I learned to develop that best on a drive from Augusta, Georgia, down to Tallahassee, Florida, when I was in my 4th year of college, and I had my mouthpiece. And, you know, whatever soda and bag of chips that I was eating, and I was just I would practice my tongue and exercises by going through all the vowel syllables long and short. A, E, I, O, U, A, F, R, and the different consonant sounds. Tucka, 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 or dugga, dugga, dugga. But I really worked on doodle tonguing, and I noticed a tremendous difference in that 4 hours and 15 minutes. It normally takes 5 hours and 30 minutes, but I was like 19, stupid, driving fast. But, you know, so I practiced that, and I saw that just with the practice, that amount of practice in one day, how much of a difference it made in my playing. So it just made me want to practice and more. But yes, I do not spend 3 hours warming up. I'll spend 3 hours playing. Or if I'm working on something, if I'm playing a piece that I've never played before, like I let a good friend of mine talk me into doing a bass trombone concerto with her band. And I was like, why did I do that? But you know, I like a challenge. And I was like, oh wow. You know, I think Doug Yeo from Boston was supposed to do it, and he couldn't. So she said, you want to play a bass trombone concerto? I'm like, yeah, shut bass trombone, yeah, I'll play it. But it was a good challenge, and it was okay. I'll never let anybody hear it though. No, it was fine. So next question. Yes, sir.
What made you choose trombone when you started music?
Trombone? Well, my older brother, Lucius, came home with the trombone one day. But I have to share the story with you. When I was in 1st grade, my late father played classical piano. He studied that, but he played and performed in church. So we heard classical music at home, gospel music in church, and country music on the radio. I'm from a small town in Georgia. And when I was in the 1st grade, the Army band or someone came to our school to perform for us. Like a band, yeah, I like the band. So that they had someone demonstrate something from each section. Saxophonist played, I was like, nice. Trombone player played, I was like, eh. Trumpet player played, I was like, Piano I heard all my life. Electric bass, I was like, that's cool. The drummer started playing, like, boom. I was like, oh, that's what I want. That's it. And I said, and I begged my mom for years for drums, and she said, not in this house you won't. So I couldn't get the drums, but my brother went to junior high school, and during that time in the United States, I'm not sure if it still happens, all the kids in grade school had to take a physical ed course. You had to have it every year. And you had to take another elective. So for us, that was automotive shop, home economics, which we thought that was a girls' class. Little did we know at that time, that was a good thing. But home economics, wood shop, and band. My brother took band. Everybody wanted to play trumpet and saxophone, and band director said, well, play trombone. So my mom got him a trombone. He came home one day and opened it, and I was like, wow, something that's shiny. Now we're a year apart. You got a dump truck, I had to get one ice cream, I wanted one bubble gum, I wanted something. Trombone, I want a trombone. And so I begged my mom till she got one for me. And I was still in elementary school, seventh grade then. And eighth and ninth grade was junior high school. So there was a man that would come during our recess period, for half the recess period, would teach you a band instrument if you can get an instrument. His name was Mr. Allen. So I begged my mom, she got me a trombone. My 2nd year playing, I was in junior high school with my brother, and I kind of fell in love with it. But I used to want to play football, box, and do quite a few things. But once I started playing music, I took piano. Again, I started taking piano when I was 11, turned 12, and then when I got a band instrument, I took piano for another year. 13, I stopped piano, continued to play for the youth choir in my church. But when I got in the band, that was it for me, because piano lessons always one-on-one with the teacher, and you have a recital at the end of the year. Band class, all the students come together, marching band, concert band. It was just always get a chance to make music with a bunch of other folks. So that's a long answer, but that's why I started playing trombone. Next, yes,
How many instruments do you play?
23.
How many flavors are in Dr. Pepper?
How many flavors did Dr. Pepper? I should ask you, I don't know.
That's what they say.
They say it's 23?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew that. See, 23. That's why I said that. But yes, I love making music. Play all the brass instruments, piano, bass, drums, didgeridoo, and a couple of others. A little bit of clarinet. I hadn't played my clarinet in a while, but I love to make music. Next, any other questions? Answers? Yes, sir. Okay.
Since I heard you mention doodle tonguing, I don't talk about it here. So could you tell them what doodle tonguing is, how you do it, so that I won't have to answer any questions?
Doodle tonguing, doodle like noodle, doodle. It's another form of double tonguing, and it's something that trombonists look. I think trombonists use it because it's like playing a natural slur on a valve instrument. So if you play your valve instrument and you don't use your tongue at all, you're going to get just a natural slur, because when the valves open and close, it's going to be da 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 da. We do that on trombone, da da da. We'll get a glissando. So doodle tonguing was a way, or is a way, that we can tongue and still simulate that sound. But it's just another form of double tongue. It's just double tonguing. It's a different syllable. Double tonguing. Taka 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 taka. Or you can go da daga 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 daga. Doodle tonguing is doodle 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 doodle. So I like to do a harsh doodle tongue. Sometimes you hear trombonists doodle tongue. It's a really soft doodle tongue. Doodle tongue like. It's really soft, and the tongue is close to the roof of the mouth. So you don't hear a lot of definition. And I wanted to work on singing it, and I would practice singing through the partials. Meaning, for those of you that are not brass players, partials meaning all the notes in first position are open, or down through the 7 fingering combinations. So I would work on doodle tonguing, not just linearly. And then I would work on making it harsh, so it sounds almost like a soft double tongue. So some of the method books teach you to work on your double tonguing by going taka taka ta taka taka ta taka 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 ta, which is cool, but if you really want to develop something, you want to stretch it out. Taka like over 4 bars. I'm still trying to keep from choking. That's why it sounds funny. But for a long amount of time, for a longer period of time, if you want to work on something, you want to do it for a while. It's just like working on running or anything else. So, but that's it. Doodle tonguing. It's a soft double tongue. So I would do that, and then when I wanted to work on my slide speed and slide tongue coordination, I start out by playing back to the basics, scales. Clark technical exercises. Anything I was working on, I would try to use to play it during the doodle tongue. So if I was single tonguing it, then I would just do the same exercise and work on the double tongue, something that you know already, and that's how you develop that. Next, I think Dr. Vander. Yes, sir.
I was wondering if you could, if you had any type of remedy that you've encountered for tired brass chops.
Tired brass chops. Let's see. Well, practicing. Practice. I mean, it's just that simple. You have to practice different aspects of your playing. So if you want to work on your endurance, you have to practice endurance exercises. You have to practice exercises that's going to help you with your endurance. And one, I would do basically 3 different types of endurance exercises. Now, you don't want to do this before a gig because it's going to put like burn on your face. And, and I call them extreme exercises. But if you really want to work on that, and most of the time you're tired, you're probably breathing wrong. If you get your breathing together, you'll never get tired. So I sat next to, let's see, David Steinmeier. I don't know if you all know who he is. Trombonist, great jazz trombonist, used to be with the Airmen of Note. And he told me something. I wanted to work on my range. I was happy just playing up to high F. Just playing up to that F, that was cool. Then so I had this gig with the Smithsonian Jazz Masterworks Orchestra, and I was playing lead trombone the first year that I worked with them. The next year I came back, I was playing second. And I was like, wow, I thought I did a good job. Now, I didn't really have a big head, but I was pretty confident that I took care of business with the part. And there was this Dave Steinmeier that was playing lead. I said, well, you know what? They want me in the solo chair because that's where all the solos fall. So I get the solos this year, but I was still wondering until he started playing why I wasn't playing first. And then he started playing. I was like, I should be playing bass trombone or 2 next to him because he played so effortlessly with his range. And I know I'm talking about range, and you asked me about something concerning endurance, but they're both connected. And he just said, I said, man, I said, how do you play so high, so comfortably? He said, well, at the end of the night when I've been playing hard, and I had a rough night, I practice in that register. Now, we always talk about warming down, which is a good thing, but I was like, man, that sounds absolutely crazy. That and at the end of the night, you're going to practice in your extreme upper register, but until I did it, then I got it. So it doesn't matter how tired I am. I call it the Steinmeier D. I can play that note no matter how tired, because it's about the breathing. Oftentimes when our chops get tired, we're beating our chops up. I used to do that. I used to have tension in all. And I hope I didn't hit your microphone. I have tension in all parts of my body. That's because I'm playing a big horn. No, because I wasn't breathing properly. And the thing is, if you work on your breathing, so I'll show you a breathing exercise that you can do, and you're yawning. It's going to make you yawn. That's the best breath that you take. Like the best breath that you take in your body and that you release, like when you're yawning. So I was like, but I started doing that, and at the end of the night, my range it went. I became very comfortable playing high. Now that D that I play. I'm trying to get up to the F, but it's hard when your nasal passages are blocked. He played an F, an octave above that. Now that's the highest F on the piano. We were in the bathroom or the dressing room. He said, "Oh, I got it." Now I didn't hear anything. I imagine the dogs probably did. He was like, he said, "I got that high F," and of course I had to believe him because I mean he was playing like I can scream that out, and I can use it for shot, but he was playing melodies in that register, and it's just like with the greatest of ease, not even straining, just, and he didn't have a trumpet mouthpiece on his horn. I was like, man, that was great, but. Oftentimes, if we're experiencing fatigue when we're playing, it probably has a lot to do with breathing. So I'll show you a breathing exercise, and I'll show you some endurance exercises that I would do 2 or 3 times a week. So breathing exercises, everyone can do this because when you stop breathing, nothing matters. Let's all stand, and we're gonna do the breathing exercise together. I'll show you conceptually how to take the breath. And then we'll do a set, which will consist of 3 breaths. So now there are many different breathing exercises. Sam Palacian and Pat Sheridan had something called the breathing gym, and it's good. But the exercise I'm going to show you is not one of those. It's more from Arnold Jacobs, who former tubist with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. So when you when you breathe, we're going to breathe in and out. I want you to open your mouth, and I should hear it should be like this. Like when you're afraid. I don't want to hear sound effects like and nothing. I don't want to hear any sucking and blowing. No, we don't want to restrict the air in any way, shape, or form. So when we breathe, it's going to be like we're just trying to take all the air in the room. So, and when we hold it, you can do it with me now. I'm going to explain it. Keep your mouths open. Don't shut the valve off in the back of your throat. So I shouldn't hear this. I don't want to hear that. We want to control the breath and keep the muscles engaged the whole time that we're breathing. So when you breathe in, it's going to be like, and you're going to hold it like you're afraid, like, just, and then and you breathe out, same thing. Now, and we want the stream of air to flow consistently and evenly. It shouldn't be like this, like that. It should be. So let's take one breath in. When I do like this, we'll breathe in and take in as much air as you can and hold it. And when I do like this, we'll breathe out. And you want to control the air. It's about controlling the breath. When you're full of air, your body wants to release it. When you have no air in your body wants it. So, but you're going to control that now. So I'm going to try it. Ready? Breathe in. Open your mouth. Let's stop for a second. We're just going to breathe. I'm going to go like. Let me hear you. Open your mouth. If your mouth is like this, like, look, pretend like somebody jumped out and scared you. Like, that's how I want you to breathe. That's how I want your throat to be open when it's not going to be that dynamic. So, but let me hear you. Once again, breathe in. And out. That sounds good. So now we're going to take a breath in and we're going to hold it. Ready? And keep your mouth open the whole time. Breathe in. Open. Out. Push all the air out of your body. Keep your mouth open. No. Okay, now breathe normally. It never fails. Someone always laughs. Every time I've done this. So let's just try. We'll try a set, and then we can sit back down. I'll show you endurance exercises. So a set is going to be 3 breaths: in, out, in, out, in, out. All right. And again, try to take in as much air as you can. Your body's not going to pop itself. So that sounds fun. That sounded funny. I'm gonna start using that. Your body's not going to pop itself. You're not going to burst. So when you breathe. Taking as much air as you can, keeping in mind that if you don't take in as much air as you can, you're not cheating me, you're cheating yourself. So to get the benefit of the exercise, you want to make sure that you're doing it properly. All right, let's do one set. Breathe in. Open your mouth. Out. Push it all out of your body. Sorry, it's difficult for me right now. Hold it. The mouth stays open. Breathe in. Oh. Like you're afraid of something. Hold it. Don't shut the valve on the back of your throat. And out. Control the air. Good. Keep your mouth open. Some of you are closing your mouth. Keep your mouth open, the O shape. Ready? In. Last one. And hold it. And out. Push all the air out of your body. Open O shape. Okay, breathe normally. All right. We can sit down. You'll find that when you do this exercise, you'll yawn. The thing is, what that did for me, I used to this A flat. I used to play that A flat. I always had to play it like this. I would never hit it, and maybe it was a psychological thing. But when I started doing these breathing exercises, the combination of the breathing exercises and working on lip flexibility exercises, my accuracy, because I knew how to move my air, it just shot up. So I was like, oh, I don't have to slide into the note. I don't have to cheat my way into it anymore, because I worked on my breathing. I can feel that I can control the air going into my horn. And you'll feel that even after doing it once, when you pick your horn up to play or to sing, you can immediately feel the sonority and the roundness in your sound, just because of how you're now breathing the air. And I'll demonstrate one thing and then show you the endurance exercises, if I can. So I'm going to play an A flat scale in the upper register using the regular positions, then one position, and then a false position. So now I'm going to do the same thing and not move the slide. So I'm going to do the same thing in a position the A flat is not in, and I'm just going to use the air to just try to control the pitch. If you can control your air, you can control everything about your playing. You won't get tired, because you can use your air to actually, if you're trying to make a loud sound, move the air faster. If you can control your breathing, you can control every aspect of your playing. So that's the breathing part. The endurance part, brass players, raise your hand. Non-brass players, raise your hand. Let's see, I'd have to think of something else for you non-brass players. This is mainly going to be for brass. Caruso, Carmine Caruso exercise. Play up chromatically a perfect fourth. Metronome again, 60 to 80. 80 is easier, 60 is going to be slower, so it's going to be more difficult. And I'll demonstrate quickly. And this is much faster than 60 or 80 right here, but I'm going to play D to G. You want to start in the comfortable range. so that you get so that you're not cheating. You make sure that you're playing something that's easy. You have it conceptually, then you start moving up and then challenging, to where the top of your range is. So each note 8 counts. You're gonna breathe, but when you breathe, you're gonna leave your embouchure set on the mouthpiece as if you're still engaged in playing. I'll demonstrate, and then I'll show you what you shouldn't do, what you should look out for that shouldn't happen. And it's always good to do this in the mirror so you can watch yourself. You're not looking at your cell phone, iPad, iPod, girlfriend, boyfriend, television, Cartoon Network, or anything. So 1, 2, each note 8 counts, and you play the exercise as if it's continuing. 1, 2, 3. Take 3 breaths, but I wanted to show you that when I took my breath, how the exercise would continue. If you do this, you saw when I took my breath, I moved my arms and I breathed through my mouth. That would be cheating. You're resting. So the whole point behind doing that endurance exercise is not to rest. So even if you keep your embouchure on the mouthpiece as if you're playing and the note is not coming out, keep your embouchure focused as if you're still playing that exercise. So that's pretty easy. D to G, E flat to A flat, E to A. By the time you get up to F to B flat, brass players, you're going to feel this little tingling. It's going to be burning. And if you have a high range already, then you can start higher, but then slow the metronome down and do the same thing. So, and the most important thing is when it starts to burn, rest, chill out, get the horn off your face, play some pedal tones, lick your lips, whatever you want to do. But the main thing is to rest, or to chill for a few minutes and then go right back to it. So that's one, particularly when we're working on the upper range. If you're working on your range, don't play up to something. Get up there and stay there. It's like when you're going into Denver or Vail, Colorado. When you get up there at first, it's hard to breathe, which makes it difficult to move. But if you want to get comfortable playing in your upper register, then you have to live up there for a while. Eventually, when you're up in Vail or Telluride, Colorado, if you've been up there for a couple of weeks, you begin to move like you move at sea level. The same thing happens when you're playing, but if you just go, just play, just get up there. But if you never go, if you never practice staying up there, you're never gonna know what it feels like to play up there. So anyway, that's endurance exercise number 1. Endurance exercise number 2, you definitely can't do around any libraries, classrooms, or anywhere, because it requires you to play loud and move the air through your horn as fast as you can. And I'm not going to play as loud as I can play, but just to give you an example. Start somewhere in your comfortable range, like F, G for trumpets, and then go up to C or higher, and then do the same thing. Balance it by doing the same thing in your low register. Start on low B flat, concert, C for your trumpets. And go lower. So you're gonna go, and no tongue attack, just shoot the air through the horn. And again, it's hard to do at first, but you want the sound to start and stop the same way. Yeah! So when you run out of air, I can't really do it with my voice. It's going to be really good for my throat later. But anyway, and try to push all the air out. Just the same concept behind the breathing exercise. You're taking in as much air as you can and then pushing all the air out. So when the sound stops, and when you get used to doing that, it sounds and then go and when you run out of air, keep going higher. Do the same thing in the lower register. Starting on low B flat and then going down, and you'll find that the sound may go like wowk, a yowk at first, but control the sound, and then try to control your air. When you get control of that, I'm pretty sure, I can almost guarantee you, you're not going to have endurance problems anymore unless you're playing 16 hours. And even with that, if you got control of your breathing, you can pull it off. But who wants to play for 16 hours? Not me. The last one is crack tones. So it's like you're just taking a bit of that sound and you use your tongue. You go. And you don't want to play it that fast either. I'm just doing that now because I'm running out of time. But pop, you want to make sure that you control the sound and that you always have a sonorous sound. And the same thing in the lower register and this is where you really get that yowk. Like, I'll demonstrate that well because I haven't done these in a while. So, I can play louder than that, but it's like, I have to get back on it, but like, boom, pump. So it's like you're cracking it's like taking a gavel or a hammer, just like crack, and that's the sound that you want to make. And I call it extreme exercises because it's not something that you want to do every day, but you really want to work on your endurance. After about 2 or 3 weeks of that, you'll find in the combination of working on your breathing, doing breathing exercises, you won't get tired because you'll know how to make a loud and a controlled sound, or you can play with a sustained amount of endurance. No problem. But 9 times out of 10, I'm most certain it has a lot to do with breathing. Because this is what happens a lot. We stopped putting, you heard how I was really like, when the air stops going through the horn, the sound's not going to happen. It's not the instrument. Keep the air moving through the horn. Like that. So, next question. So I know I spent a lot of time on that, but it's something that it takes time to develop. So, and you have to do it consistently. Yes, did I see a hand?
As far as
He's like, I see it's you. Just so you know.
but like as far as embouchure goes, is it all like embouchure and air, or is there like lips too? Like whenever you're getting higher up, do you want more like upper lip over the lower, or like lower over the upper? Like when you start getting higher up.
Well, see, the thing is, I'd have to hear you play. Everything you want to start in the mid range. Like if you're doing lip flexibility exercises, play a flexibility exercise with me.
Like
First of all, sit up. You can't start doing that until you've been playing for 35 years. You know, then you go ahead. You're just relaxing a little bit too much there. Okay, good. So the first thing is I see movement on your face already. So the first thing we want to do is to try to eliminate that. There's going to be a motion that's going to take place, but you don't necessarily want to see it. Sometimes I see this. None of these muscles have nothing to do with what's coming out of your face, you know. So, and the same thing with what you're doing now. If you first of all, you want to make everything sing. So do everything slow. Boy, oh, try that at that tempo.
that's
Stop for a second. The first thing we all have to do is take a good preparatory breath when we play. We want to play as if we're trying to play everything in one breath, even if it's the Carnival of Venice. So, yeah. Good. Not only are we going to figure, I still see this happening in the right part of your face. So play it slower. Lordy.
So you want all like, so it's all breath, really.
Say it again.
So it's all breath, really.
Well, yeah, it's all breath, but play it slowly. Good. Now see, now you play good. Stop. Now play it fast. Yeah. So for you, the first thing you want to do is to play everything slow. Make sure that it sings. I don't see the movement when you're playing it slowly. So if you look in the mirror and the most difficult thing if you've been playing for a while is to go back and address the flaws in your basics. I know it's a difficult thing to do, but once you fix it, you don't have to fix it again. You may have to touch it up, but just practice it right the first time. So play that exercise slowly. Boo And you know it may seem a little tedious at first, but if you look at yourself in the mirror and just try not to move, even if it means sometimes everybody sacrificing the sound, you always want everything to sound good. But if you have to sacrifice the sound a little bit just to stop those habits that you may have developed, I developed quite a few of them, and it was hard for me to do it. But I would sit in front of the mirror.
So then your embouchure for like your high, your
It has
high
nothing-
D is going to be the same as like your low F or something like that.
Say it again.
So like your embouchure for like maybe your high, like B flat is going to be about the same as like your low.
It's when you actually practice the exercise right, you won't even have to ask that question. So your embouchure is going to conceptually it's going to be the same, but it's like if you're singing when you're singing. Think about singing when people are singing and do when they make a low sound, they're trying to open up. It's like do. The same thing happens on like there's no movement in my face, even except with the exception of my opening my mouth. It's not really about your embouchure. If you think about how your embouchure is going to be shaped, start there where you are in a comfortable register. Practice that between B flat and D. Do the same thing between D and E. Start the minor third, the major third, the fourth between B hall, between B flat and F, then D hall, and then whatever conceptually what you were doing between the B flat and D, the major third, if you do the same thing in the lower register and the upper register, then you're going to find what that is. You won't have time to think about my front lip, the top lip, the bottom, and the back of my teeth. If it sounds good, then that's what's going to work. Because the inside of your oral cavity may be shaped a little different than mine. The mechanics of my playing is probably going to be a little different. But what you just did between do that there, spread the interval there, then you're covering the registers. And conceptually, if you play it the same, D without moving, and that's what I'm trying to get you to do. If you do that, even when you get to the upper register, if you start playing like a ninth, so you see movement on my face. You see movement on my face right now, but you want to do it slowly. So that's why you start with smaller intervals, and you open the intervals up. Then you go in the lower part of the horn and the upper part of the horn, and then whatever that is for your embouchure. If you're making that sound and if it's singing at that slow tempo, and then you speed it up, then that's what's going to happen. So there's no one formula. Dizzy had a bite. Your embouchure may be shaped differently, so it may happen a little differently. I mean, you can cheat, but if you practice the basic, most simple thing, then you'll fix your embouchure problem. And I'm not going to say a problem because it's not a problem. If you can play, you can play. If you can make music, even with not the quote unquote perfect embouchure, no one really has that. But you can fix a lot of things by doing those simple, basic, conceptual things. I'm not sure if that was the answer that you were looking for, but if you try it, I guarantee you'll find that answer that you're looking for. But
so
practice.
The answer is same embouchure between B flat and D, because I started out as about the same.
I don't know if it's gonna. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the same embouchure. It probably will. But what I'm trying to get you to see is what you did the very last time you played was different than what you were doing before. I saw movement on your face. If you eliminate the movement, then you can continue to play that way. But if you try and eliminate the movement and you make that sound that you made, which was pretty and sonorous, then it'll happen. It's not going to be a quick fix until you look in the mirror and actually concentrate on doing it. And if you can spend more time practicing in the mirror than away from it, so you can get used to that change. How long have you been playing?
Since I was 11.
Yeah, I don't know how old you are now, so that doesn't help me that much.
9 years.
Say it again.
9 years.
9 years. So that's 9 years of you developing where you are now. It won't take 9 years for you to fix it, but it will take consistent. How often do you practice? Ooh,
Well,
oh.
if I'm not working or doing homework,
Say it again.
about maybe half hour to an hour a day tops.
Yeah, so that means you practice no less than 30 minutes. So, and what's your major?
I'm probably gonna go into IT.
That's pretty much the answer to your question. You want to fix, you want to, if you want to know what happens, you have to practice more than 30 minutes a day. So, and if you can do that, let's see, you have a job?
Yeah.
Yes? Yes?
Yep.
Yep. You have kids?
No,
Not yet. You married? Well, you still have time. You have a little time. You can practice. Find more than 30 minutes. You have more than 30 minutes to practice. I'm not asking you to answer that for me. That's something that you have to figure out. Because anything that you want to do, you have to make time to do it. It's important. But especially when it comes to fixing things, practice. It's a good thing. I know I'm probably close to being out of time, but does anyone have anything they'd like to ask, anything they'd like to share? Questions, answers, anecdotes? Anything? Yes?
Oh, there's a gentleman over there.
Oh, yes, sir.
How do you make that sound? It's kind of like, I guess,
the didgeridoo. You kind of break it.
Like a didgeridoo sound? I heard that the first time in January 1990, and I couldn't replicate the sound, but I couldn't play the didgeridoo. I can now. But it's like, rather than buzzing like this, it's like so, and then I'm going like everything. If you sing it, if you try to imitate sounds that you hear, you figure out how you can figure out how to do it. What instrument do you play? So, actually, that sound is really not a pleasant sound when you first. Because I can make that sound when I first started playing. It sounded like this. So a lot of beginners can make that sound, but it's an effect that I like. Excuse me, to use. That's how. Anything else? Yes? No? Maybe so? Questions? Answers?
How about a hand for Wycliffe coordinator?